Hey, you guys. As of this live video, it is late night, and I was like, I haven't gotten on and done the Mojo moment yet for the day. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to take you in bed with me. So I hope you don't mind. But I thought it's better to bring you in bed than to not do the video at all, because I really do enjoy sharing these Mojo moments with you. And I thought this was a great place actually to talk about one of the things that I've been wanting to share with you today, which was about a conversation. It was really inspired by a conversation I had with a client. And it's so interesting because it's so interesting. It fascinates me, so many people's like thoughts and the way we perceive things. And, it's very much like how we've been raised, the society we have spent time in, our cultures, our communities, and they all bring us, certain beliefs and, frankly, a lot of misconceptions. And so the thing I wanted to talk about today, which I found fascinating, frankly, when I had this conversation with a client, is about mojo, literally. And this conversation was super enlightening to me, again, because even someone, and this is no disrespect and not making my client wrong at all, this is like why I'm so happy she's, in the work with me. But it's like she said, I am just totally disconnected from my mojo, and I don't, have any sexual spark, and I'm not interested in that right now, and that's just not where I'm at. And it was like, woo, aha, light bulb moment. And because if she's thinking that, then some of you must be thinking this too, meaning you're collapsing mojo with sex and your own sexuality. And while they are concentric circles, right? Try to use my hands here, concentric circles overlapping, they are not the same thing, like at all. And your mojo is your life force. And yes, to have mojo while you engage in sex is fantastic, but you don't have to engage in sex if you are igniting your mojo. And it's from the beginning of doing this work, this is going on. I mean, this specific part of my work that I've been doing, it's been over a decade at this point. And, it frustrates me how people confuse this information for, and believe that like it is sex. And look, there ain't nothing wrong with sex. I'm a big fan of it. I'm a proponent and all the rest of that. And that's a whole other conversation. But for you out there, and for you ladies who are considering, to step into your mojo and your power as a woman, and claim who you are, and step into embodiment, and step into what I call living a turned on life. And yeah, it's a play on words, right? Because yeah, you get turned on, and that could be a sexual thing. I'm talking about the kind of turn on where you are engaged with your life. So it's like your lights are on. And when your lights are on, you can use that and channel that power and that energy any way you choose. You can channel it into your family. You can channel it into your career. You can channel it into creative projects. And yeah, you can channel it into a sexual relationship if you want. But it does not have to go there, right? That is an absolute choice. But when you deny yourself, and when you cut yourself off from the mojo, the life force, the chi, the ki, the prana, again, there's many words you could use for it. But when you cut yourself off from that, you are cutting yourself off right here. You're only living from the neck up. And that ultimately, and particularly for women, that ultimately causes adrenal burnout, an extraordinary amount of stress. It's all about like pressure and kind of a relentless go-getting that has no spaciousness. When you incorporate the life force and when you incorporate what I call like living in that turned on space, now you're incorporating your body. And your body is the landing pad for all your desires. This is why it's so important to get that the mojo and sex are their own things. They can be combined, but they are not one and the same. And that's my rant. That's the mojo moment. And I figured it was appropriate to share with you before I went to sleep as of this live video. And, you know, again, I'm curious to know like how this lands for you. Was this an aha? Are you going, okay, you know what? I'm glad you started to unpack that for me. Have you had this collapsed for yourselves? You know, where are you with it? Because it's fun and, you know, in terms of conversation and, you know, and being titillating and all the rest of that. Sure. It's fun to talk about, you know, the connection of mojo, but you know, here's the thing. Why do you think people get so enlivened and giddy and you almost childlike in a goofy way when people do talk about sex? Because their sexual energy, which is mojo, life force, right? That's the energy involved. But again, here's the thing, like sex is pretty simple when you come down to it. It's, you know, two people having intercourse. Not complicated. We sure know how to complicate it as humans. Gets pretty complicated. But, you know, in actuality, the real definition, not complicated. And, you know, mojo, on the other side, that's always here. It's life force. I mean, I'm just repeating myself, but, you know, it's the chi, the ki, the prana. Again, there are many, many words for it. It's always here. And so I really, really like, I'm so excited to share this and remind you, emphasize for you, hopefully, you know, open things up for you to recognize this. So, you know, you can have access to your greatest resource. Really, it informs and infuses everything that you do. Okay. Thanks for showing up for those of you who showed up live late at night. It's fun to see who's awake now. And for those of you catching this on a replay, I'm glad you're seeing it, morning, afternoon, whenever it might be. And, you know, if this spoke to you and if you think there's someone in your world that would benefit from it, tag them in a comment below. Feel free to share this. And of course, if this is something that you're like really needing support with, and if your mindset is collapsing all of these things, I highly recommend you join me and the ladies for the next Rock Your Mojo Women's Weekend. That's coming up April 5th to the 7th. And yeah, there's all sorts of info. It's rockyourmojowomensweekend.com for full details. And there's an early bird special happening this week. You just use early 400 in the checkout, and that'll take 400 off the ticket. So come join me, come join the ladies for the weekend, and whatever you do, like really just have be willing to open your mind in a way that allows for deeper truth to come through. Because anything that tightens you and kind of kinks you up more and collapses you is not the truth. It's just not. All right. I'm starting to ramble. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I love you lots. Deborah Kagan, your Mojo recovery specialist. Going to get some shut eye, and I'll see you tomorrow. Okay. Bye for now.